Namaste. In my last session, I spoke about the mindless mind as to how useless the mind has become. It has reached to a stage where most of us are under chaos, mess, misery, multitasking. Mind is randomly and recklessly chattering, wanting more and more, this and that for its likes and dislikes. And we cannot call that after millions of years of evolution. What are we doing? We are destroying this world, ecologically, environmentally, every way. We are destroying. So, like the neuroscientists say, 98% of the mind is unconsciously functioning from its subconscious section. The conscious section initially teaches the mind, like to walk or like to swim, and the moment it learns, then the subconscious takes over on auto mode. It does not require the conscious mind. But then the conscious and subconscious are primarily of the cognitive section from the senses. And then we have the third section, the superconscious section, which I would like to speak about in detail today as to what is the superconscious mind, which the Western world takes it as the unconscious mind. The superconscious mind is that section where no thoughts exist. It's absolutely silence. That is where the divine resides. That is where the mind is limitless. That is where all the creativity comes out. The rest of the mind is intellectual, borrowed knowledge from here and there, collected since childhood, fed into your memory. Past knowledge. That is why every thought is of the past, because it is coming out from the memory, from the storehouse. Subconscious is the storehouse of your past. Every thought is of the past. So the moment you go beyond thoughts, beyond that thinker, your physical and your mental self, the moment you go beyond, you enter into that divine self, the superconscious self. The superconscious self is considered to be that thou art that. Tattvamasi, Shivoham, Aham Brahmasmi. It is that spiritual conscious principle which unfolds everything that you perceive in this world. It is that divine. It is because of you the universe exists. It is because of you God exists. It is because of you all that exists. It's because of you. And you are that. Thou art that superconscious mind, where no thoughts exist. You are not that thinker. Thinking is yours. Mind is yours. Thoughts are yours. You are not that. That's why they say, my mind, my thoughts. You are that beingness in pure consciousness, in pure awareness, in total awareness. You are that. It is because you are aware what exists is unfolding, otherwise it cannot. You have to become aware of it. So, what happens? We have the superconscious mind on one end and the subconscious and the conscious on the other. This is considered to be the spiritual soul which has entrapped the spirit, the cosmic energy. The highest attribute is considered to be that it is aware. It makes your mind meaning this, and this is beyond mind meaning beyond thoughts, and it makes your mind aware and conscious, and then it is taken away by the subconscious for its desires and emotions. So, this is considered to be the third eye, and this is considered to be the ego self. This is the material cognitive self, and this is the spiritual self. This hardly consumes 0.5% of your mind, and this consumes 99 to 99.5%. Imagine, and that is why there is so much of imbalance. That is why there is so much of mess and misery. That is why everybody is anxious and depressed. That is why each one is killing thee or snatching or trying to tell the other, I'm more superior than you are. And that is why the ego is so supreme, and the divine sitting inside is sleeping. And you are going helter-skelter into churches and temples searching for a divine outside. Whereas the divine is sitting here. The God, Guru and the Self is inside, not outside. You see? So, you may go into a temple, meditate, chant and things like that. That is just to relax your mind, soothe your mind, silence your mind when you're too exhausted. But that's about all. And that's true. You go to a temple out of fear. You pray to God out of fear. The moment you start praying, what happens? Whatever prayer you have memorized, you are subconsciously ranting and chanting that, not even knowing what your mind is somewhere else and you are chanting a prayer. Subconsciously. And that is what the subconscious mind is. Creating havoc. Why? Because it's not balanced. Subconscious mind is your material mind. It is to make you expand materially. But you also require, you may have all the comforts of life. You may have wealth, you may have money, you may have health, you may have family, you may have a name in the society. Yes, it will provide you with power, pleasure, prestige, it will provide you with everything, but there will still be something amiss until and unless you balance that with your spiritual mind. So the spiritual mind is that superconscious mind. It is impartial, it is impersonal, and this is personal. It is personal. This declutters the mind purely through observation. It does nothing else. It watches and witnesses your mind, making your mind aware and conscious of how it should behave itself. The moment it watches, the mind becomes shy. The mind becomes conscious. And then once you become conscious, you will not do intentionally something which you should not be doing. There will be a check on it. Like for example, if you are angry and you are shouting, exploding in anger, it's because you are subconsciously behaving that way. The moment you become conscious of your anger, it will simmer on its own. There will be a pause. There will be a pause. So the subconscious is the lowest stage of the mind, where all thoughts which makes you a thinker, and then comes the conscious, which is in between the superconscious and the subconscious. It's that link, and superconscious is the center of awareness which provides awareness to the mind to make it conscious. So it's that link between the cosmos and your mind. Your mind, meaning you are not mind. You are not thoughts. You are not that thinker. That's your psyche. You're much beyond. that 98% which you call mind. We're much beyond. You are that divine. God, Guru and the Self are you. You are that thou art that Tattvamasi Shivoham Aham Brahmasmi. It's because not through your perception, not through your mind that you see what you see. It is through your awareness that everything unfolds. The universe exists because of your awareness, through its observation, through its superconscious mind, which initiates, which makes your mind alive, which activates your mind. It is that trigger. You are, the divine is there because of you, the universe is there because of you, everything unfolds, everything exists because only after your mind becomes aware. You are not the physical or the mental self. That is yours, that is what you are, that is not who you are. Who you are is that beingness in a selfless state of aware energy. That's what who you are. Where there is no I, it's just that divine inside. It's what makes the mind awake. It's what makes the mind alive. It's what makes the mind creative. It's what makes the mind intelligent. Otherwise, you remain as an intellect. Through your memory and your intellect, you become an intellectual. You become an intellectual. A class is being taught. There are 40 students. Same chapter. Each one will understand differently through the intellect. But each one will understand differently through the intelligence. Some will understand much more. Some will understand less. Some will understand more than what the teacher has taught. So, understanding is through intelligence. Your intellect is past knowledge, borrowed knowledge, exhausted knowledge, which you're just churning inside through your intellect to choose and judge. The spontaneous mind is proactive. The intellectual mind is reactive. It thinks, evaluates, analyzes, and then reacts through its emotions. Whereas this is through spontaneity, the superconscious. The moment you observe and you come into action, it is responding to the stimulus without any thoughts of evaluation, analyzing, judging, condemning, nothing. It's not prejudiced in any way, it's pure. So that is what the superconscious mind is, and that is what proactivity is. Straight from observation into proactivity, into responding to the stimulus with an action. Is that what is the superconscious mind all about? It is that it prevails in the mind, in this silently, in the zone where there are no thoughts. Where there are no thoughts. Because in observation, you don't require thoughts. You're purely observing. Thoughts come later, after it extends into cognition. Here you're observing in purity, in totality. Say you're looking at a flower, beautiful, and you're at awe with it. You're just admiring its beauty. The moment the cognition enters, thoughts enter, then you start comparing with other flowers. You think about pollination, you think about photosynthesis, you think about the size of the flower, as to what you can do, you pluck it, dissect it, you do what not to it, that's all cognition. But while you were watching, it was in its purity, you were in awe with its beauty and its fragrance. That is spiritual, and this is material. This is absolute, this is pure, this is partial. This only watches and witnesses. This is limitless. This is limited. This is where devotion comes from. And this is where passion comes from subconscious and compassion comes from consciousness. And this is where it's dispassionate. Dispassionate meaning where you are neither passionate, where you are neither compassionate, because compassionate again is selective. You are dispassionate. You are just sensitive to everything that is around as one. You're not differentiating. You're very sensitive to everything. Like Mahatma Gandhi was. Sensitive, selfless, to everything that exists. It did not make a difference to him who and what you are. Being sensitive. And all creations and inventions are through the superconscious. A scientist may be working from his intellect and his past knowledge, calculating, analyzing, using all his mathematical acumen to come out with something new, and he cannot. And he's going on working hard over it. Gradually what happens? One day, bingo, I've got it. So, what happened? The cosmic energy gave in. It was a flash. It was spontaneous, and when you ask that scientist, how did you achieve it? No, I did not get it through the mind. Something happened, and the answer came out just out of the blue. That's the awakening. That is why they say the soul has to be awakened. It is asleep. And once it is awakened, it activates the mind into its limitlessness. Otherwise, it remains limited, functioning subconsciously in auto mode, recklessly and randomly, not realizing what it is doing, because it's not meant to. It's working mechanically. You are not participating into it. You are that everything. You just have to awaken. You just have to awaken that divinity hidden within you, making the mind more and more aware, reducing that 98% of the subconscious level and increasing the percentage of your conscious, that link between, and the superconscious level. The superconscious is what I term as mindfulness. When the superconscious awakens, the mind becomes mindful. Otherwise, it is temporary. Temporary. You may do meditation, transcendental meditation. For that 15 minutes or half an hour, while you're relaxed, very good therapeutically. For the body, it's very good. For the mind, it's very good to discipline the mind, etc., etc. But it's all mental and physical. It's not spiritual. Because straight after that, your ego takes over with extra vigor to show off and gossip that I'm doing meditation these days. And even meditation becomes repetitive. You cannot concentrate for long. Like you cannot concentrate on a prayer for long, for every day. So that is why you have to know what actual meditation is. It's to be meditatively aware from one moment to the next, where you are beyond space and time and causation. All successful people, please remember, highly successful people are by default. They're not intellectuals. They're intelligent. They're intelligent. And they are very alert, because it's only an alert mind which can awaken the soul. The moment you are alert, the soul awakens. And the moment you are alert, that awakening creates awareness. And if you're attentive after that, you become conscious. So, Alert, attentive and aware is what makes your mind mindful. Namaste. Thank you very much.